and try to bring me in. And so my mother was the one that actually found this job ad in the newspaper when I was going to call one of my cousins and say, listen, I'm in, I need the money. And right when I was calling him to tell him that, you know, I was going to be in the game, I saw an ad in the paper that my mom had circled and said, check this job out. And I put the phone down and looked, and it said youth counselor for Vision Quest in Arizona, start right away, great pay. And man, I called them up that day, got the job like 2 weeks later. They didn't even do a background check on me. I didn't even really know that I was gonna go on this modern day wagon train. I was really trying to escape the temptations of the street. So when I finally got there and they took me to this camp, I was like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. This is crazy, I can't stay here. And I was like, well, I just left. You know, I just left Albuquerque. My mom said she was proud of me. We had a little going away party, and then I just couldn't go home. So I decided, you know, I have no choice. I'm gonna have to stay on this wagon train, and it was probably the best thing I've ever done.
How long was the trip for?
The trip takes about 12 months. These kids are on the wagon train for about 11 months.
So you start from Arizona, you go all the way up, and then you come all the way back?
Yes, we go from Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, all the way to North Dakota. I unfortunately did get to finish the whole trip with them. I did it for about 6 months, came back, and then when I went to screenwriting school in UCLA, I decided, you know, I'm gonna write a reimagined version of what I did. So I took my journey and extended it to Canada, threw in some more action adventure inside of it, the wolf packs attacking camp, and wagons tipping over, and these kids riding with herds of buffalo. So I added some elements in the screenplay to make it more grandiose.
Got it. So you decided to go to film school because you're inspired by this trip, and then you, while going to film school, you roughed it in LA for a bit.
For 11 years.
When'd you come back here?
I worked at Warner Brothers from UCLA. Went to Warner Brothers for 11 years. Worked with Stuart Lyons, the executive producer of Breaking Bad. He was my mentor for many years. He became a famous producer after that. Did short films at Warner Brothers with the janitor and the security guard, and I would put together these guys and we do little short films. And I was on my way to becoming a filmmaker, but then my grandfather ended up getting cancer. So I rushed back here to Albuquerque to be by his bedside, and I promised him before he died that I would take care of my grandmother. So he ended up dying the next morning, and I fulfilled my promise. I did go back to California and LA, and I was working at Warner Brothers, but I gave up my dream of 7 Arrows and making movies to come back and take care of my grandmother. Came back to take care of her, driving Miss Daisy all over the place. She's an older lady. I would drive her all around in Albuquerque, and she was the one that eventually got me this job with Judge Parnell as a bailiff. It's kind of weird how the synchronicities go. I gave up my dream thinking that was it. But it turned out by working with these kids, working in the juvenile detention center, actually reawoke the lion inside of me. So 15 years later, 20 years later, I decided to give it another shot. You know, you just can't give up.
Cool. Thank
Okay,
you.
I went to the bathroom.